The enormous success of the Thar has been well established since the second generation of the model was launched in our market. But the one criticism that the Thar has always had to face is limited space in the back seat, apart from the fact that getting in and out itself has been quite a task. Now these are the problems that Mahindra has tried to address, hit the problem on its head in fact, with this car here. Yes, it's a Mahindra, yes, it's an SUV, yes, it is a Thar, but officially it is the Thar Roxx 5-door version. Now you've heard a lot about it, but in today's episode on HT Auto, I'll be telling you some of the key high points and some of the misses of this all-new model from the Mahindra camp. So please be sure to check this video till its absolute end. The Thar has always had a solid presence on Indian roads, helped amply by its very masculine, very butch styling. But in terms of dimensions, the Thar Roxx builds on it almost as if it has spent even more time in the gym. So while the height of the vehicle has gone up, the width has gone up, most significantly, the overall length is now at 4.4 meters instead of just under 4 meters. What that does is helping the wheelbase also increase and allowing Mahindra designers to finally put in dedicated doors for the passengers at the back. Interestingly, the door handle for the rear seats are mounted on top, and this one particular feature is likely to divide some opinions. To distinguish it further on the side from the regular Thar, the alloy design is also all new. In fact, this is a new alloy design for any SUV model from the Mahindra camp, and the wheel size is at 19 inches. The design of the rear quarter glass is also unique and perhaps will once again divide opinions. But there are a whole lot of Easter eggs all around this car, so that's a nice touch that Mahindra is continuing with its offerings. The Roxx is essentially a Thar and it needs to look like one. So from the face, it does look like the Thar that we've known for so many years now. But of course it is also a Roxx essentially, and there are design updates on the face too, which differentiate it from the conventional Thar. For example, the grille here has been redone, reworked to establish the Roxx credentials of this vehicle. Now personally, I don't like it, but do let us know what you make of the updated grille here. Now what I do really like are the C-shaped DRLs around the circular LED headlights. You continue to get a high-mounted bumper here, and the fog lights get the same space as it has always had. Now Mahindra lettering comes engraved onto the bonnet here, and frankly the masculine appeal of the car from the front continues as is. Now at the very back of the Thar Roxx, not much has changed. Of course you get an updated tail light which is LED here, but the spare wheel that's mounted here remains the same. Even how you access the cargo area remains the same. And well, there is now, thankfully, more space as far as your luggage area is concerned. So the cargo area inside the Thar has always been a pain point, but the Thar Roxx seems to have addressed even that. We don't know the exact capacity of the cargo area here, but to the naked eye, it seems like there is a whole lot of space for your weekend bags and suitcases. The real test, or the biggest question in this very real test of the Roxx, is the space that the rear seats have on offer and how easy is it to get into this back seat. Now while of course if you compare it to the Thar Roxx has these dedicated doors, which obviously means getting in and out is far easier than when you had to roll and slide the front seats. And while it is still a bit of a climb considering this is a tall SUV, again in comparative terms this is a big boon and will potentially bring in far more customers into the Thar family. What also helps this car is that there is decent amount of space now for the backseat passengers. The knee room here is decent. This seat is pulled back to its max and I still have decent amount of knee room. Feet space is fine and even leg room is about adequate. Headroom once again remains the biggest plus point. On the flip side though, under thigh support continues to be lagging, so that can be a factor on long journeys. Now thankfully these back seats here can actually be reclined, and that can be a helpful thing on long distance roads. Now there are adjustable headrests for both passengers here at the back, but the middle passenger doesn't get an adjustable headrest. Now if there is no passenger here in the middle, you can roll down the central armrests, gets cup holders which are frankly best suited only for cups. Now a bottle, even a 500 ml actually doesn't fit here, and shockingly there are still very limited places where you can store your bottles, cups and all. In fact, even the space on the doors is absolutely inadequate for bottles like these, and they just don't fit. The pockets behind the front door, well, are also very limited in terms of space, but the good thing is there is a dedicated space for storing your phone, but the rest of it is perhaps just big enough for newspapers, or in our case, the Thar brochure. In terms of additional features for the rear seat passengers, you get rear AC vents, very standard fare. You get a storage space for perhaps your phone again, and a Type-C charging point here. The good thing also is that the center console is positioned just right, so it doesn't eat too much into the foot space of the middle passenger. Now the front half of the Thar Roxx has also received certain feature updates. The list is primarily highlighted by a larger and newer infotainment system, which is now powered by Adreno X. The front two seats get the ventilation function, so that's a big thumbs up for those who are looking to buy the Mahindra Thar Roxx. And well, the layout has a generally nice, pleasant feel to it. Generous use of soft plastic, so that's a good thumbs up again for Mahindra. The color scheme also is very pleasing. In fact, this light colored upholstery elevates the premium appeal of being inside the Thar Roxx. But on the flip side, maintaining it is definitely going to be a massive issue, considering that this car is also made for off-road adventures. In fact, even before we got inside the car, we observed certain patches where there were stains, and well, frankly, just points to the fact that this, in the long run, will be a very difficult car for you to maintain as far as cleanliness is concerned. The circular air conditioning vents are good. In fact, it is very humid right here in Kochi at the moment, but the air conditioning system has been working really well. You get controls for the air conditioning through these two rotary dials and a host of buttons on the center console panel. You also get a whole lot of buttons here to control drive modes, the seat ventilation and the emergency parking brakes. Now the lower half of the center console is also decently well done. You get a charging pad to charge your phone wirelessly. You also get a 65-watt fast charging Type-C port here and a conventional USB slot for additional charging options. The gear lever, this is an automatic, is, well, looks quite premium, and the stitching quality is also decent. There is some storage space, thankfully, for things like your wallet and the car key. There is the parking brake here, the electronic parking brake, and the auto hold function here. There are also two cup holders here on the center console, but once again, very small in size. There is some storage space under the central armrest here, but only the driver side of the central armrest can be adjusted. Even the glove box has very limited space, and if we do the brochure test once again, the Thar Roxx brochure cannot be stored inside. Now, another good part about the Thar Roxx is that there are grab handles on the inside for all four seats inside the vehicle. The Thar Roxx also benefits from a very premium Harman Kardon sound system. Now, there is a massive sunroof. Mahindra likes to call it the sky roof, and frankly this is a new addition to the feature list of the Thar Roxx. Remember, the Thar doesn't get any sunroof, but during our review we found quality control issues with the switch, with the shade not shutting on many occasions. But one other thing that Mahindra could have done is added one touch down or one touch up function on at least the driver side window, which frankly isn't there. The steering wheel is something we've seen on other SUV models from Mahindra. In fact, it's similar, identical to the one that's on the Thar as well. But the controls have been updated. Why? Because the Thar Roxx, unlike the Thar, gets level 2 ADAS functionality. Now, a whole lot on that and how this car functions, moves on the road, the engine options, the transmission, and a whole lot more in the next part of our drive impressions. Much like the Thar Roxx comes with both petrol and diesel engine options. But while the petrol engine gets only rear-wheel drive system, the diesel comes with both rear-wheel drive and 4x4. There is a toss-up between 6-speed manual transmission and a 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. Our review unit today is the one with the diesel engine and 4x2 and not the 4x4 version. As mentioned, this one gets the 6-speed torque converter automatic unit.
Power figures for this particular version of the Thar Roxx gets 150 bhp and 330 Newton meters of torque. These figures go up if you opt for the 4x4 diesel version of the Thar Roxx. Now there is something very familiar with how the Thar Roxx drives. There is going to be a sense of familiarity for someone who has experienced the Thar and now is experiencing the Thar Roxx. Power delivery and build-up takes a bit of time, but that's only expected because of the large road presence and the heavy character of this vehicle. But press the throttle and the Thar Roxx gets a move on with a solid sense of purpose. One gets a commanding view of the road, but that's always been the Thar's DNA. The steering wheel continues to be mostly weighted well, and managing the Thar, considering its proportions even within city limits, is fairly easy. Highway speeds, which are close to triple-digit mark or even beyond, are fairly easy to achieve, and the steady trait of the car is an enjoyable experience, especially on long highway journeys. On the flip side though, there is still a decent amount of body roll on this vehicle, and there is a general bobbing when you reach highway speeds. Now, the suspension unit has been improved, and that is very palpable. But the Thar Roxx, generally much like the Thar, continues to enjoy itself when being driven in a steady fashion. The control over NVH levels, considering how big this car is a job well done as well. Now, a big highlight in the Thar Roxx resume is the addition of Level 2 ADAS technology, or Advanced Driver Assistance System. This packs in as many as 10 features, and some of these features that we tested during our experience with the Thar Roxx were forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control. All of these worked as they are intended to. A big strength of the Thar Roxx is its 4x4 capabilities, but as mentioned, our mid-year unit was a 4x2 and we couldn't experience its authentic off-road capabilities. But do keep following us for the absolute most comprehensive experience detail of its 4x4 capabilities as well in a later video. If the popularity of the Thar is anything to go by, the Thar Roxx has the potential to be even more popular. In fact, the competition for this SUV isn't coming from the likes of the Maruti Suzuki Jimny or the Force Gurkha anymore. It is actually coming from the Thar 3-door version. The Thar Roxx actually makes several improvements over the 3-door version, apart from those dedicated doors for the backseat passengers. The feature list has been updated, and that's great too. And while there are quality control issues and the ride still is a bit too bumpy for my liking, the Thar Roxx overall is a practical package that should appeal to a wider audience. What do you make of the Mahindra Thar Roxx? Do let us know, and do not forget to check out our in-depth written review as well. For now though, that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching.